Welcome back. I have awesome news, at least for me. Quite simple news, but I got hot water, which means all the radiators work. I actually have heat in the house. I measured the temperature here inside the house before the radiators got started, and even though we've been having mild weather some of the days and not that cold, it actually was about 14 degrees Celsius in the house. But now it's more like 20 degrees Celsius and it feels freaking awesome. Just as I was editing the video on Thursday, I called the electrician and he actually showed up on Friday. Never in my life have I experienced that, not having to wait a couple of weeks at least, which was freaking awesome. Well, he showed up on Friday. He actually wrote down what needed to be done and so on, and told me he's going to show up on a Monday. Fantastic. I spent the weekend just relaxing. First weekend I kind of do full relaxing. But on Monday he shows up and he gets to work. Awesome. I start to just daydream about getting radiators working and getting hot water, and spoiler, but it was actually better. Here comes the funny part. He's finished his work and everything and he's gone, and I go and I decide to install a couple of electrical outlets, something I trust myself to do quite easily. I'm not doing that what he was doing, but I trust myself into electric outlets. Well, I put out the fuse for that room, which is the guest room, and yeah, sure, no problem. I go down to the floor and start working on it, connect all the outlets, and all like, okay, now I just have to put the fuse back in. Well, I walk out of the room and there's no electricity in the entire house. Yeah. First thought, what did I do? How did I mess this up? But here comes the funny part. I go, okay, let me just put the fuses back. And yeah, everything turns on. And then it kicks out again, but only one fuse. And that fuse is for the electrical heating. The electrical heating wasn't on a big enough fuse. Small mistake, but unbelievable but true. I messaged the electrician and he showed up today, Tuesday. And he was like, yeah, I talked to another electricians and miscalculation, everything's fine. But yeah, he put on a proper fuse and I was so happy it wasn't my fault. Which is more often than you think. But yeah, now it is complete and I actually have hot water in the house, which is freaking awesome. Last winter I was cold to the bone as it dropped to minus 20 degrees Celsius. Outside it went to maybe 0 here in the house, or maybe just a little bit above that. But I'm looking forward to this winter. I'll have it so toasty and so comfy here. It's gonna be unbelievable. It's gonna be freaking awesome. And also, I know winter's around the corner because if I look to the mountaintops, you can see snow appearing in a couple of them. It's been coming and going, but yeah, there is snow coming. So winter is just around the corner. The locals are talking about it being a little bit worse than last year because last year was mild. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be really interesting. And I really like the thought of being inside of a toasty house with everything covered in snow and cold outside, but just chilling at home. So before we continue, have you hit the subscribe button. I'm almost to 420. Would be awesome. And here is a little tour of what's been happening in the house. These are the electrical outlets I was installing over here. I think I did a pretty good job. Also, I installed these here, smart radiator heat controls, which are pretty cool. If you go like so, you don't know if you can see it on the video, but you can set the temperature here and you can also see what the temperature is. One thing that's really cool with this is they measure the temperature and they set the temperature that I asked. So they heat up the room according to what I set it to, and they turn off the radiator if the room is getting too hot. So it's not only smart in the way that I can control it anywhere, but it's also smart in the way that I'm not forking over more for heating than I need to. And they're just powered by 2 AA batteries. Pretty good. And since I've got hot water, I need to start working on finishing the shower, since now it's possible actually to use it. So that will be happening probably next week. And also fixing a small mistake I made in the bathroom, but we shall not talk about that yet. So here's the heater that is working with the electricity. The electricity comes down here and into this, and this heats the water. The water comes in from here and goes out here, back into the system. And as you can see, this is the returning water, and the returning water is around about 50 degrees Celsius, and the water coming from the heater is close to 60. And it's actually set to 60. And that's what I wanted to say about the heat in the house and everything like that. I wasn't gonna keep this video very long. It was just gonna be a little bit status update on the hot water, and also another update, which is I'm changing when I'm publishing videos. I'm gonna be doing a Wednesday and a Sunday, because according to Google, or rather YouTube, most of you are online for watching the videos on Wednesdays and Sundays. I hope you like the plan. If not, let me know in the comments. But yeah, it's gonna give me a couple of more days to work on the next project. And the next project is gonna be finishing off the trims for all the windows. I'm gonna start there. But yeah, I'm gonna call it quits now, but remember to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. But I'll see you next Sunday.